Well, we've had some shakeups in the sports world around here, haven't we?
The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Taco Comfort Solutions.
Good evening. Great to have you aboard. Now, you're watching this on Friday night on Fox or on Sunday night on either the CW or Channel 12. So you've already weathered the Thursday opening day storm. There wasn't one, but it might as well have been one, as the temperatures are hardly baseball weather. But that's opening day and spring in New England, right? We'll talk about that a little bit later in the broadcast, but spring is eternal, right? Sometimes basketball programs have a rebirth, and I think many basketball fans around here, including the acute Friar town, went through a little bit of a shock in the last 3 weeks. Let alone the failure of the basketball team losing, what, 5 of the last 7, it seems, and just not getting it done in the tournament. Maybe the distraction was all about that and Ed Cooley leaving. Let's start from the most recent, though. New coaches have been introduced at Providence College, and when we come back from this story, we'll talk to our own basketball guru about it.
We are welcoming 2 shining stars and 2 rising rockets to the Friar family who are going to rewrite history.
Alongside Kim English and Aaron Bath, AD Steve Napolillo and President Father Ken Sicard introducing the newest tandem to the Friar faithful.
Because I wanted to make sure I brought new members to the Friar family who not only stood for what Providence College stands for, but has huge potential, and I think, as you saw, great days ahead in Friartown.
Wednesday morning inside Alumni Hall was the first of many, evidenced by humility and passion.
Oh my goodness, how's it feel? The slogan right now is Friared up, honey, I am.
Everything's done at the highest level, and I'm not sure I knew that about Providence just on the outside.
No time has been wasted since pen was put to paper. English already has players returning.
You know, he just seems like a really good guy, a real good coach, and I think he's going to bring the best out of all the players here.
And now the goal moving forward is to continue retaining talent.
We're building our group around Devin, around Bryce, around Corey. I think those guys are going to have exceptional next seasons.
In Providence, Maury Hirsch-Gordon, 12 Sports.
All right, there's no order to this conversation. Kevin McNamara, who now I introduced as a broadcaster.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm on your team.
You're on my team. And this is not the first time Kevin's appeared here as a broadcaster on my team, but it still takes some getting used to. Of course, we all know him as the Providence Journal scribe and just our top guy on basketball and Major League Sports around here. Show's doing great, by the way.
But now I'm a radio guy.
Now you're a radio guy, and getting pretty doggone good at it, by the way. Great asset to our team. Let's not worry about chronology too much. Big day this week, Wednesday. And as I'm driving in to do this show today, I hear on WPRO that you're sourcing, that you're hearing that those 2 main guys who have not yet spoken publicly are going to stick around, or leaning that way.
Yeah, they're leaning that way, which is a great sign for the new coach, Kim English, because retaining the talented core is really important for next season.
So leaning that way means what? Who they said what to who, and what are they burping? And
well, it's up for them to commit 100%, but things are going well. Things are going down the line. This NIL piece of the pie, I think that's the final piece that needs to fall into place. But I'm hearing that it's going to fall into place.
All right, there's so much complication in college sports right now, and in college basketball specifically for us, because it's our premier sport. This NIL, name, image, and likeness compensation program that the NCAA has engaged in when a Supreme Court decision came down that you can't cheat the players out of compensation of some kind, has really been, I don't know, it's kind of like a match lit. It's kind of like, let's see what, the firecrackers, do they blow off? Will they be small? Right?
It's spread. I mean, the good thing about NIL is that the players, they own their name, they own their likeness, and if they can get compensated for it, that's great. There's no bumpers. There's no, kind of rules and bumpers around it, so it's open-ended. The University of Miami's in the Final Four this weekend. They have an NIL budget for men's basketball of $2.2 million. Their number one transfer this year makes $400,000 from one company. It's called Nerd Wallet. I don't know what Nerd Wallet is, but hey, if they can stroke that kind of check, I guess they're doing pretty well. He's a big Miami booster. And that's what it's going to take between now and whenever the NCAA and the conferences really come up with some rules and bumpers, or else who knows where the top is.
Well, since we're on it, it's confusing, and I think a lot of the institutions are confused as well about where those bumpers may not be. The idea is that a kid could show up at the local auto store and stand up for a car and say, just like I would do as I have endorsements as a broadcaster, that they could do that. It requires a third party to be able to say, hey, listen, I'd like that player to sponsor my business, whether it be my luncheonette or whether it be my or a bigger picture product. But then there's these entities that have been advertised, formed by the universities on an arm's length basis, where even the Friars have put up a big screen advertisement saying, literally for the guy who's had 3 big beers at the game, who's already into it for gosh knows how many thousands as a season ticket holder. Hey, we're making a big comeback tonight. I'm all caught up in the emotion, and I want this to last forever for me, so I'm going to send $500 to that entity that they just asked for, the cooperative, so to speak.
It's called the collective. That's right.
Where does the collective stand in terms of what an advertiser may want to do separately?
Yeah, a collective is truly a pot of money. If you don't have a business and you want to contribute to a collective that's going to go to the student athletes at some stage, then it's up to the endorsers to say, hey, can you go to the local boys club? And the local boys club, you make a few appearances at the local boys club, and you take the money from the collective and divvy it up to various players that way.
But the boys club is not asking for an endorsement. The collective is stepping up and saying, hey, it would be a great public service for you to go to the boys club, and we'll pay you to do that.
Correct. So the boys club isn't donating any money. The boys club is saying, hey, any chance we can get some Friars to come down to the boys club? And the collective says, sure, we can pay them to do that. But
there's no rate ceiling.
There's none.
So it might be that at Acme University, visiting the boys club is $15 and a sandwich.
And at Kentucky, it's $5,000.
Right?
Yes, that's exactly how it works. The word was, I've seen this on Twitter. You can't depend on Twitter all the time. The best recruit from Kentucky next year, you mentioned a auto dealership. His is a Rolls Royce place. He pulled up to his freshman dorm in a Rolls Royce because there's no bumpers on it. It's crazy.
What does that do to continuity on a team? I think when you are a professional, when you enter the professional ranks, you do so with an understanding that there are marquee players that are making $10 million, $15, $20, $100 million, whatever it is in their contracts. And then you are a defensive back, or you're a 7th man on the Celtics, and your deal is only like $3 million or whatever. Meaning you have an understanding that there is a marketplace salary attachment to return on investment. LeBron gets X, average player gets Y. But in the college ranks, they're not conditioned to that right now. So what happens to the 7th guy on the Friars who may make $35,000 versus somebody who's going to make $250? Is that going to be harmful to the culture?
I think so. It's a challenge to the coaching staff, because the coaching staff, in theory, in recruiting, you're not supposed to line up NIL deals. It happens. Okay, and again, there's not a lot of firm rules around that as well.
But you're telling me that Bryce Hopkins is just trying to button up NIL deals. So this doesn't happen by osmosis. There's got to be some player. I should check that. Let me use a different word. Some advertisers, some sponsor.
The collective. The collective.
The collective is going to do what? Guarantee him a certain amount of money?
That's how it works. That's how it works. They work with potential advertisers, and they may have to reach out to more potential advertisers to steer more money to certain
kids. And the collective is managed by the university?
It's not. It's not. There's
Wink.
Yeah, it's 3 alums who run it, and at some schools, it literally is former assistant athletic directors manage the collectives. I mean, and again, those are all legal because the NCAA doesn't have rules against that. I thought we were talking about coaches, by the way.
We're going to, but no, people are
it's
very
so
confused
important.
by
It's
this.
so important. It's the #1 item in recruiting at a high level today, especially in football, but men's basketball as well.
And is it likely that the way this thing is going, if some restrictions and some rules of the road aren't constitutionally applicable and used, that we're going to see the big get bigger and the small get smaller?
Absolutely. Happening already. There's no question about it. And with the transfer portal, say I am a very good player at URI. I come in and my NIL deal might be worth $100,000. I have a couple really good years in Kingston, and I know that I can go to Duke and make $500,000. Well, you have a decision to make, and you go to the.
Well, it used to be. This is the part that feels kind of corrupted. It used to be I got a chance to win a championship, or I have a chance to pursue a degree. I had a chance.
When was the last guy who was academically ineligible, by the way? When does that happen again?
I don't know.
It hasn't happened for years.
So the portal, so people understand, what is the restriction on the portal? I mean, since COVID and another year eligibility was added for the players for a 2-year period of time, correct? We're going to get to some kind of 4-year rhythm again soon,
we
correct?
Will, right.
But how many times can a kid say, I want to leave, put myself in this portal and let somebody shop for me online?
It's once when you can transfer and not have to sit out. That's legit. But you have a 5th year if you were in college during the pandemic, and that's about to time out.
If you go to the portal a second time, you have to sit out a year.
Or get a waiver from the NCAA to be eligible immediately.
And a waiver would be conditioned on what?
Yeah.
Coach Cooley left.
No.
No?
They put out a directive that a coach leaving doesn't automatically give you a waiver. You can apply, and then it's up to Providence.
Is there any precedent for the waivers and the rationale for it?
No. It's catch as catch can. It's very confusing, and it's a problem.
All right. Well, I think the Friar fans, thanks for that. Listen, that's instructive. I think a lot of people who are not necessarily avid sports fans are saying, holy cow, what a business now collegiate sports is. When we come back, crazy, what Cooley did is, to a lot of people, crazy. Stay with us.
It was going to take a special place. And it is divine providence that I'm here. It's just meant to be, right? It's just that time, the change. I needed a change, but I wouldn't change unless the right place offered the opportunity. And it had to be a partnership and a marriage that would work. And I can see myself here for a really, really long time.
Well, look, he gave 12 years to Providence. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But first of all, it was just a mind blower to see him on that background. And then for him to use a term, divine providence, I wonder if that was purposeful or just instinctive. He used it when he came to Providence.
There was so many catchphrases that he used in his Georgetown introduction, that he used in his Providence introduction, and that we had become used to hearing over 12 years. And divine providence is like at the top of the list.
I'll tell you,
It's been
you and I are
odd.
both happily married for a long period of time, so I can't speak in contemporary experience. But as a young person, I had a couple of breakups, and I remember, when she's walking around with him, and it's what all songs are made of, right?
Yeah.
You just can't compute it. Friar fans are having, up until last couple of days, are having a lot of trouble computing it.
No, I think they still will. It's why it's going to be difficult for him to come back here for a couple of years, maybe a long time, for a couple of years.
You think he's going to get booed out of the place?
Oh yeah, it's going to be hard. And again, when Providence fans see him on the air, and just the voice. I mean, it's 12 years. He was Providence's coach.
You think there's going to be resentment and booing reaction at the AMP because of the nature of the decision or the way it was handled?
Isn't that the same thing?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I would say not the fact that he left, but the way that it unfolded. I think most fans are saying that the way it unfolded affected the team. And
their performance at the end of the year?
Yeah, and I think most fans would say they were most concerned about the season pittering out the way it did versus the coach leaving, because they care about the on-court stuff, maybe more than anything. They're fans. They're different than us. It's not a people game for them as much as wins and losses. And this team was, whatever it was, 20-7 and ranked in the top 25, and then they lost their last 4 or 5 in a row and almost non-competitive in a lot of those games.
Lateral move?
You know, I would say currently, but this is a 6-year contract. I would think that Ed Cooley would say over 6 years he would have a chance to succeed more at Georgetown than he would at Providence. I don't think it wasn't apples to apples. It was multiple things. I think, like he said in that cut, it was a time in his life where he had a decision to make. Am I going to stay at Providence my entire career, or am I going to make a move? This was a move that made sense to him.
Newsrooms, chat rooms, social media, full of ugly rumors.
Yeah. I've noticed them, read them. I'm a news guy. I don't go with rumors until, I mean, a lot of it's very personal, and it is what it is. I mean,
well, everybody makes career changes based on the clinical issues involved in the career, and then how you're feeling in life.
Yeah.
His daughter, having graduated from Georgetown and reportedly staying in the area, is certainly an emotional pull. You know, family is family and how they deal with it. But Ed's dealt with some demons, and reportedly has, you know, won more battles and lost with that. So maybe things were bubbling up. Maybe it's just the stuff that you can't explain publicly, that you'll never be able to explain publicly, that probably is frustrating for him as well.
I think he's been outspoken to some degree about the spotlight that is being the head coach of Providence in Providence. Even more so.
Meaning you can't go anywhere.
It's difficult. And you know, Tim Welsh would say that. Pete Gillen would say that. But Ed Cooley, being from here, with his family here, with his wife's family here, it was hard, and he would express that to me frequently. You know, the third cousin, the second cousin, you know, looking for something, looking for favors, being around. It's hard. It's hard. And to be the wife of the Providence College coach for 12 years in the state that you grew up in, that is a spotlight to deal with.
In Washington.
Now he gets compensated very well
Sure.
to deal with it.
Yeah, I get it.
But
after the money's in the bank, it's still real life. Goes to Washington, to Major League Football, you know, all the major sports. So he'll be a component, not the biggest fish.
No question.
In the pond.
Ed Cooley and his wife could walk down the main street in Georgetown in 2 weeks. Not many people would know who he is. Now, he hasn't coached a game there yet. With success comes more notoriety, but to your point, it's a major international city, and Georgetown basketball is just a piece of the pie.
And a couple million more to boot, whatever. All right, so we got a new guy in town. We'll talk about him briefly when we come back.
This place is special. It's something different going on here. I've been all over the country. I've played in the Big 12. I've coached in the Pac-12. I've coached in the SEC, the Atlantic 10. Something different is going on here. You know, the support, the university, the league, right? The players, the facilities, best in the country. But what makes it really, really, really special are the people.
Yeah, well, listen, he said all the right things, as did the new women's coach, Erin Bath, who wowed everybody.
Yeah, she's a character.
At this event on Wednesday, where you say about 1,000 people showed up
yeah, it's a good
Alumni
crowd.
Hall.
Yes.
What's your take?
Well, Steve Napolillo, the athletic director, clearly values energy, positivity, someone who he can sell. I think that's important to Providence, especially. They've had the opposite in some previous coaches, namely Keno Davis. They wanted the opposite of that. They got the opposite of that with Ed Cooley. I think they got the opposite of that with these two coaches, especially Kim English. So obviously, that's the dominant program.
He's much more reserved. As the PA guy at URI, and he coming from George Mason in the Atlantic 10, I saw him this this far away for 2 hours at the game that they beat URI. I actually walked away before any of this happened, but thinking I liked his composure. I get to see relationships with teams and clubs because it's right in front of me, and I walked away thinking the guy's got a good handle on his team, and they seem to respond to him. So there you go. I mean, that's one man's 2-hour perspective, one game.
You know, I've been in this game long enough. As soon as I see the bio, I'm like, oh, he played for Frank Haith at Missouri. Was an assistant coach for Frank Haith at Tulsa. I call Frank Haith. He was an assistant coach at Tennessee for Rick Barnes. I call Rick Barnes. I respect those two guys. Glowing.
Yet he hasn't really proven himself as a head coach. I mean,
no, only 2 years.
You know, and in the Atlantic 10, barely made a move. You know, 500 plus, not very good.
I would say,
but it takes a while.
Yeah, 2 years is 2 years. I think more importantly, at those other places, he's known as a very good recruiter. I think he has an interesting package of qualities. He's a former pro, NBA pro. He was not a great pro, 1 year with the Pistons. I think that resonates with kids and recruits, like big time.
At the beginning and the end of the day, there's this thing that is said about the coaching carousel in collegiate sports, maybe professional as well, and that is the first thing you want to do is win the press conference. I guess they've won the press conference.
Yeah, and I talked about that on the show this week, and great, good for you. It doesn't matter much. What matters is winning, and that's why this job, this college sports game, is so hard. You can think you have the perfect guy. He checks all the boxes, you know, wows people at the press conference. It's about winning games, and that's no knock on anybody. You don't know. There's that mystery, that unknown. That's the secret sauce.
15 seconds. Baseball season.
Oh, you got a coat?
Well, we're taping it Thursday afternoon. Red Sox compete or they don't? Yes or no?
They'll compete. They'll win low 80s and not come close to the playoffs.
Wow.
Well, they didn't last year. Dead last. 2 of the last 3 years. They've made some improvement, not enough.
All right. Thanks, pal.
Got it.
Great perspective. I hope you learned some things about collegiate sports. Wow. Final word. We'll keep in touch with what's happening with the Friars and all the basketball programs, of course, by listening to 790 The Score and KMAX Sports Hour on WPRO as well at 6 o'clock. You have a great week. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for tuning in.